All right, really quick guys, if you're at Costco and you're looking at buying this stuff, this is the first time I've ever seen it at Costco. It's $15, comes to about 12 cents an ounce, and it does a good job. Foam's okay, could be better on the foaming, but provides a ton of lubrication for your contact wash, so it's definitely worth it. Now check out the rest of the video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this guy right here, Turtle Wax Hyper Foam Wash and Wax, available at Costco. I was walking around my local Costco, saw this, decided, hey, let me pick this up, try it out, and let you guys know what I think of it. So we're gonna be testing it. We're gonna be testing it through a foam cannon. We're gonna be testing the actual pH level. I have a little gauge here to actually get a fair reading of what the pH really is. It says it's pH neutral, so we'll find out. And then we'll test, I'll actually wash my truck and test out just how the lubricity is a word, of the product, and just let you guys know how I like it. We'll test the rinsing ability and go from there. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. I talk about car detailing products, detailing tips and tricks, pressure washer reviews, all that kind of good stuff. So if that stuff interests you, please consider subscribing. Okay guys, so here it is. What you get is 128 ounces, also known as 1 gallon of Hyperfoam Wash and Wax from Turtle Wax. This is, like I said, it's available at Costco. It's 15 bucks. $14.99 I believe is what it was. So that comes to about 12 cents per ounce. So great value here, as long as it performs. That's a fantastic value, and I would definitely recommend it. So anyways guys, let's go ahead and start off. It does have long-lasting foam, swirl-free cleaning. That just means the lubrication in it is good. It's gonna help lubricate the surface so you're not causing any wash marks. High shine polymers, tropical scent, and foam sprayer ready. Now, it does say wash and wax, guys. In my personal opinion, wash and waxes aren't laying down a layer of wax. They will add the slightest amount of protection that will not last super long. What it really does is, as it says, high shine polymers. Typically these wash and wax products are really giving you the ability to wash your vehicle and give it that just waxed look, because it has polymers to help fill in and create a nice shine. So again, I think it gives a tiny bit of protection, but not a lot. Is this safe for your ceramic coated vehicle? Well, if it's pH balanced, it is. Now, a lot of other people will say, hey, don't use a wash and wax on your ceramic coated vehicle because now you're putting a layer of wax over the top. And it's not necessarily true. You can definitely use this over a ceramic coated vehicle. It may cause your ceramic coated vehicle to react to water and dirt differently because you had your basic paint and then you put a ceramic coating on top. Now it's very, very hydrophobic. It's really resisting to all the elements. If you put a layer of wax over the top of that, now again, this barely has anything in it for actual protection, but even if you're just using a spray wax or something like that, now on top of your ceramic coating that's super hydrophobic, you're putting a layer of wax that's not as hydrophobic. So if you go to wash your car and you're like, hey, did my ceramic coating fail? No, it didn't. It's just that there's a layer of wax laying on top of it. Once that dissipates and breaks down and goes away, your ceramic coating is still there and you're good to go. Okay, so before we get into actually testing this thing out with a wash bucket and also a foam cannon, I wanted to do a pH test. So I have this little pH gauge here. How accurate this thing is, I don't know. But basically, if you look at a pH scale, 7 is neutral, and anything right around that really is gonna be good. 5, 6, and 7 are gonna be solid. But 7 right in the middle is completely neutral. On one end at 0 or 1, that's your acidic end, you have battery acid. So obviously not something you wanna put on your car, right? Not just thinking about putting battery acid on your paint seems like a bad idea. So on the other end, which is the alkaline end, you have things like liquid drain cleaner and bleach. Also something in your head you'd be like, well, I don't want that on my paint. So it's important to be pH neutral or as close as you possibly can. Obviously when you get into those further ends, they're gonna clean better or create more. I mean, obviously if you put acid or bleach, it may just eat through your clear coat, and technically it's cleaning away anything that was there because it's eaten through it. So anyways, guys, neutral is good. That's what we want. So in this little cup right over here, I have tap water. This is straight from the sink in my shop. In this cap, I have water that has run through my deionized water tank. So as it comes out of the tap, it's about 400 to 450 parts per million of contaminants in the water. This one has 0. It comes out completely clean. That's why you get a completely spot-free wash. Let's see what this is. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom you guys in. We'll check the pH level on all 3 of these. All right, guys, so step one, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the meter on, and you can see it's all zeroed out. So it takes a little while to get an accurate reading. So I'm gonna stick it in. And again, this is straight from the tap. Okay, so it looks like, oh, we're still climbing, but we're gonna settle right around there, say 5.5, we'll say it'll probably get to 5.5, which is right in the middle there. That's pretty much equivalent to like a black coffee is what it shows on the pH scale. It's slightly acidic. So just keep that in mind. We're gonna go ahead and get that out of there. Let it reset back to 0. Good to go. Now we're gonna put it into the deionized water that has no contaminants in it. And you can already see, wow, much, much, much better on the acidity. So slightly less acidic than the tap water was, but still slightly acidic. Or, and this is a big or, that this pH little meter here isn't 100% accurate. So we can assume, I mean, it's water and deionized water. That's gonna be pretty neutral. No contaminants in it. So think of that basically 5.5 to 6 mark as neutral on this little meter. All right, let's go ahead and look at the hyperfoam now and get an idea of what this is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the top off, put it into the liquid. So for me, it's slightly lower. So at 5 instead of that 5.5 mark. Again, I don't think that this gauge is 100% accurate, so keep that in mind. It's very close to that neutral as compared to completely spot-free deionized water. So I would say it's pretty fair, pretty accurate as far as it being pH balanced. Now, it does label itself as pH neutral formula will not strip off wax coatings. Again, compared to the water, it's slightly more acidic, barely. But again, guys, I would like to make a fair note that this thing is cheap. I think it cost me like 10 bucks. I'm sure that Turtle Wax is using a much more professional grade meter than this. This is just giving us an idea, making sure that it's not like a 1 or a 9 or whatever. So should be fine. All right, so let's go ahead and hook this thing up to my foam cannon, to my wash bucket. I'm gonna wash my truck outside and see how it foams, how it lubricates the surface and all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so we're at the front of my shop. I'll roll the door up here soon. It makes it bright, so it's hard for me to film. But basically, I went ahead and filled my bucket with water, and I put in 1 ounce per gallon of water, per the instructions on the label. Now, per the instructions for a foam cannon, it says for foam sprayer, use 1 ounce of wash per 2 ounces of water for heavy foam. That's a lot. That's a lot. That is basically a third of your foam cannon. Now, most foam cannons, I have 2 of them here. I have the MJJC or the unbranded one, which you can get on my site. I also have just the Amazon Basics. And both of these are gonna be running a 1.1 millimeter orifice inside the head because I'm using a lower GPM, lower PSI pressure washer. If you don't know what that means, basically when you're using, especially with most electric pressure washers, there's not as much PSI or GPM going through it. So what you do is you right behind this, you back that off and there's a little orifice inside. I'll have them linked down below. You can order it. You put one in there. It reduces the amount of water going through, creates more foam for you. So if you need more foam out of your foam cannon, either just get the MJJC or the unbranded one from my site. Again, I'll have links to everything down in the description. That thing foams more than any of the other foam cannons that I've tested. Or go with a cheap Amazon Basics, switch out that orifice, and it still won't be as good as the MJJC, but you'll get sufficient amount of foam for cheap. So anyways, guys, with that said, most foam cannon bottles are about 1,000 milliliters or approximately 33 ounces, I believe is what it is. That means we're gonna be using about a little over 10 ounces of soap. That's a lot. And usually with like Adam's Mega Foam and Max Shine's Ultra Foam. Most of these soaps that are made for foam cannons, you only need like 2 ounces. They're very, very highly concentrated. With this, it says to use 10, so we're gonna use it as is, test it that way and see how it performs. Now again, I'm gonna show you guys with the MJJC as well as with the Amazon Basics, just so you have an idea of what the difference is in the amount of foam you get between these kind of foam cannons. I will say, guys, this stuff does smell good. Almost a little bit like a pina colada, kind of. But yeah, it smells really nice. So again, that is quite a bit of soap in a foam cannon. Like I said in the past, typically 2 to 4 ounces is kind of usually your average. They're saying 1 ounce per 2 ounces of water, so 1/3 of the foam cannon. So that's what we did. All right, guys, I know I'm pretty dark, but I made it so that you could actually see the truck. I'm gonna start off with just the foam cannons onto the truck right away so you can see the difference on how much it foams. So let's start off with the Amazon Basics. Okay, so Amazon Basics foam cannon. Again, this has the 1.1 millimeter orifice installed in it, so it's gonna get more foam than it normally would. And I know it's a white truck. I understand. It's not the best to show the foam performance, but we're just gonna do it on the window so you'll be able to see just how thick it goes on. So overall, it's pretty runny actually. I'm gonna grab a video on my phone here. But you can see all the bubbles in it, just meaning it's not a full, nice, thick foam. With that Amazon Basics one, it's not a super foaming car wash soap, apparently. Will it get good foam? Let's try it in the MJJC now and see how much better that goes. And test it that way. Now with that said, guys, this is still a decent amount of foam for doing your car. I prefer really thick foam because it allows it to cling onto the surface and break down all the contaminants, and giving an easier way to break all that stuff down so you don't have to go in as much with a contact wash. You still do, but everything kind of comes apart pretty easily. So that's why I like a thicker foam. This will definitely get the job done, but just not perfect. All right, switching over to the MJJC Foam Cannon Pro, or the, what do I call mine? The Pro Max foam cannon on my site. Here we go. So substantially thicker. So as you guys can see, it's really much thicker than the last one was. Still not as thick as some other soaps, that's for sure. But as far as getting thickness from this soap, the MJJC is definitely gonna be a great option. No bubbles in it, it's just nice and thick. Now I do wanna say, if you don't wanna get the MJJC, from my experiments of testing out all these different foam cannons, the MTM PF22 gets a ton of foam, the Griot's Boss gets a ton of foam, and then the MJJC gets a ton of foam. I think I would probably rate them. Griot's and the MTM are pretty close. For me, the MJJC just gets a little bit more than both of those, but both of those other ones are fantastic options as well. So now I'm gonna go ahead and rinse the whole vehicle down. I'm gonna use the foam cannon, get all the soap on there, let it dwell a little bit, then I'll go in with my contact wash using the 1 ounce per 1 gallon of water of this soap, and just see how it feels, see how slick it feels, so that we're not introducing any wash marks. Okay, so what do I think of Turtle Wax's Hyperfoam Wash and Wax? I like it. It's great. It works great. Foaming ability wasn't fantastic unless you're using a really premium foam cannon like the MJJC, MTM, or Griot's. Again, I only tested it with the MJJC, but I've tested all of them in the past. I know that those other two produce a substantial amount of foam as well. So as far as using it as your bucket method, going around and doing the actual contact wash, it felt great. It gave a lot of lubrication to the panel. I didn't have any worries of introducing any wash marks. And as far as cleaning ability goes, it's pH neutral, so it's not gonna strip everything, right? But it's gonna do a good job of breaking the things down and letting you clean it. I didn't have to do a lot of stuff where, going over it, fine tuning. It broke everything down pretty well and rinsed it all away. So rinse off also was nice and easy. Everything kind of just went away, didn't leave a film behind. So overall, guys, I really like it. So if you're at Costco and you're wondering, it's definitely worth picking up. All right, so that does it. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video. Make sure you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell, and we'll see you on the next one.